Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. West, Mr. Seymour Butts. This is the assembled Bluebird, Alvin. Big up. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Hey, anyone ready for some England, Serbia? Anyone ready for some Albania and England? Deckers running out for 90 minutes. With 11 games played, 3 international breaks. Like that's something they really need to take a look. Like, who wants this? Yeah. Who wants 11 matches, 3 breaks in between them? Like, what? Who does that serve? Every single football fan that I know hates this. You know, like in what walk of life you have a consumer-based industry? All the consumers hate this one thing, and yet the proponent of said product keep giving you what you say you don't like. Who the hell wants 3 breaks in 11 matches? There should be 3 breaks all season. Really? 11 fucking matches. But anyway, 11 games played, right? Big enough sample size to assess the table? Maybe. I think it's safe to say you can pull certain assumptions from the Premier League table right now, right? You can look at teams like Wolves and you say, they're going down. You can formulate your top or the bottom 3, so to speak, right? Or the bottom 5. But Wolves is definitely in it. Forest, West Ham, they can duke it out, but Burnley and Leeds are fully in it. Fulham looks like they could be in trouble. However, I'm of the opinion before the season started, right after the transfer window closed, I did a video saying this year the traditional top 6 will reset, right? So I thought, yes, I did say Manchester United will finish in the top half of the table because that's what I believe that it's in the top 6. The order of which they fell, not so much. Now, the way United started off the season, it looked long. I looked crazy 3 weeks in, looked like a madman. But all of a sudden, it doesn't look that crazy anymore because fast forward match week 5, where United were down there, negative goal difference looked like it's going to be a continuation of last season. They have ascended in the table, and that's with 2 losses. They haven't won their last 2 games. So you can make the statement if you want to pretty it up. If you want to run a pretty narrative, you can say Man United in their last 5 games are undefeated, and they're above Liverpool, right? So the top 6 I predicted will reset, and that prediction doesn't look as crazy based on 11 matches played so far. But what other conclusions can we draw from the first 11 matches other than who are probably going to get relegated, what the top 6 is going to shape up to be like, and what the mid-table teams are going to be? Well, we can also make the assumption that Haaland is going to win the Golden Boot, yeah? Or we can confirm what we predicted would happen, that he would do it. But today's stream, people, is about questions that need to be asked of the managers in the Premier League. Oh, shit, all across Europe, really, because I think Hansi Flick has some questions that he have to answer. I think Xavi Alonso has some questions that he have to answer, but we're a Premier League dominant channel, yeah? So there are Premier League managers who need to be asked tough questions. And if I was in front of some of these, man, I would ask them some of these questions that the fans want to know. Because some of them are getting nowhere with murder. Not going to lie. Big up before I continue with my monologue. Let me big up some of you absolute legends that are always tuned in and supporting the channel. Big up to man like Static. Hope you are good, bro, this Monday. Hope you are well, my friend. Big up to Alvin. Big up to Bluebird. The Assembled. Always here doing this thing. Big him up every single time. Sounds like an agenda is afoot. Hey, the agenda must agenda, Doc. You know the agenda must agenda. I cannot let these questions that I have go unanswered or ignored. I asked a couple of them last night on the night out session with the Jordy Dread, which was a great watch. Big up you rotten scoundrels, smash the likes as you walk in. You better listen to the doctor. before he see that Seymour Bus can curse you out in the most eloquent of fashions that you won't even know that you're being cursed out. You ever had one of them ones when someone cursed you out so eloquently, you'd be like, "Hey, do that shit again," because I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be insulted or flattered. But big him up, man. That was a fire track. It was, man. I'll be tuning in to Tunisia and Mauritiana, Russia, Peru. These are friendlies, aren't they? I think those are mostly friendlies because most of the teams have already qualified. And this is what I'm saying. Like, who the hell wants this? Who has been calling for 3 international breaks, 11 games played in domestic football? Yeah. Mauritiana. Don't even know what part of the world that is. I'm not going to lie. And my geography isn't the worst. I thought I was pretty good at geography. Russia, Peru's there. Bahamas and Anguilla. Now, that's not like a good one. Where's that being played? Need to look where that one's being played. Because that venue sounds like it's lit. That's somewhere I'd like to be. Oh, it's in the Cayman Islands. Rather. Listen, one of the reasons why I miss the East Coast. Oh, the Cayman Islands play the British Virgin Islands. Oh, my days. Listen. Oh, shit. And the DR plays St. Vincent. Yeah, you know what? See, brother, you probably need to check out one of them games, you know? Anfield, the Reds said Michael Oliver has been allegedly banned from being a ref or VAR for Liverpool games after questionable decisions versus City. He was in the VAR room. Ooh, no way. Just ban him. If he cannot ref Liverpool games or be a part of any Liverpool games, he don't need to be in the Premier League. Okay, that means that teams that will have a negative impact on Liverpool who are not currently playing Liverpool, he has a conflict of interest. So that's actually, if the FA are going to do that, that's actually a W for Liverpool and an L for everyone else. I'm not hearing that. Click me, Liverpool, top 4, Arsenal, City, Sunderland, not in a certain order. Sunderland, you know, I don't think Sunderland will stay up there. United 5th, Chelsea 6th, Bournemouth 8th, or Bournemouth 7th. Okay, fair. That's what it is. BBK, the teams that I will follow are Belgium and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I was born there. I hope they qualify. Fair play. So that's the thing, bro. Jamaica, that's something. Listen, follow Jamaica religiously. If the Jamaica play anyone, it could be Brazil, it could be France. Team Reggae Boys, yeah. But is it a real thing though? Big up to Cooper. Big up to Cooper, my brother. Happy pre-Veterans Day to you, my friend. I'm hoping that you're available tomorrow for the members stream so we can have a chop up. But big up to you for the super sticker. Thank you so much. West Africa borders Liberia. Okay. They speak English as well. I know. Liberia is probably the only country on that side where English is one of the official languages. I think the damn Liberian flag is just like our flag or the American flag. You know, stars and stripes. Looks like he was born out of America. But big up, man. Big up you absolutely. Hopefully the league uses as Oliver ban if it goes through as a precedent for other refs. So it's a real thing. It's true. Like I'm saying, they can't let this happen. If he is banned from reffing Liverpool games, then he doesn't need to ref any Premier League game at all. That's my stance, right? So next week, if he can't ref the Liverpool game or any Liverpool game or be in the VAR room of any Liverpool game, if he is the lead referee next week or when we get back from international break with City versus Newcastle, obviously that game doesn't have Liverpool playing in it, but it affects Liverpool because if Man City win, it affects Liverpool negatively. If Newcastle win, it affects Liverpool in a positive way. Like you would want City to lose that game if you're a Liverpool fan. So if he's not allowed to officiate or be in the VAR room of any Liverpool game, he shouldn't be doing any games because all the games are connected. Like when we go to the Etihad, whichever team is closest to Liverpool, you're going to put him in charge of that game. No, that can't happen. Liverpool, you can't get that privilege. You can't get that privilege of, oh, this ref doesn't like you, so he can ref every other game that can potentially impact your game, but can directly officiate a Liverpool game. No, sir, that's a fuckery. We're not doing that. That can't be allowed. That will be some shit. You know, I've never signed a petition or none of that. This is one I'll be down for now. You can't do that. I know Liverpool need all the help they can get right now. We can't take it to the officiating room and let PGMOL say, yeah, this guy's bad for Liverpool, but he can officiate the games with the teams that Liverpool are competing against. How much fucking sense does that make? You know? Hey, big up, Cooper. Looking forward to seeing you, my guy. Big up to my bro, the Waffle Don. Yeah, big up, Cooper. Love, bro. Dr. Seymour, that's not right. It's like choosing a jury. Facts. And speaking of which, right? So I'm a warrant officer, right? The chief warrant, and that's the CW. That's what it stands for. Chief warrant. 4 is the level, right? It goes up to 5. So the warrant officers have like a very tight knit group. So I've always told commanders, we have like internal investigations where you're appointed an IO, an investigating officer, for any kind of misappropriation of funds, any kind of illegal activity within the force. And I've always tell commander, whenever I get selected to be an investigating officer, I said, if the parties involved include a warrant officer, I am recusing myself from the case because I cannot be unbiased, because the warrant officer corps is like this. We are very tight at the hip. We look after one another. So I tell them straight up, you can't choose. I cannot be on this jury. If I'm on the jury and a warrant officer is on trial, I'm voting not guilty. I will tell the judge I find myself fit and incapable of being unbiased. So I'm recusing myself from this case. So Michael Oliver or the PGMOL, you don't get to do that, my bro. You don't get to officiate all the other games that can impact Liverpool, but not the Liverpool games itself. That's a fuckery. Big up to every single one of you locked in. We got 16 locked in. Appreciate your time on this Monday morning, afternoon, evening. Big up to a special guest. It's November, right? We got like Thanksgiving. Like when you go to Thanksgiving dinner, your favorite cousin? Not your sibling, but your favorite cousin that you love more than one of your siblings. Like you fuck with him because he's like, this is my real cousin. That's what E-Ross is like. E-Ross is like everybody's favorite cousin. And there he is in the chat, people, at minute number 13. Big up E-Ross every single time.
Maybach music.
Rose a born stunner. I can blow money. When I'm shopping, that ain't no money. I think I'm Big Meech. Larry Hoover. Whipping work. I'm so sophisticated. To get a verse from me, you gotta be initiated.
Maybach music.
Big up to E-Ross, everybody's favorite cousin. That's E-Ross every single time. The bully of the chat, the Broad Street bully, makes his entrance every single time. Big him up this Monday morning, afternoon. You know it. But yeah, I haven't seen that Michael Oliver story yet. This is why this chat is goated, But they should catch some heat for that, man. Man should not be allowed to. If he can't officiate Liverpool games, he shouldn't be allowed to officiate none of the damn top 4 games, or none of the teams that are potentially in a title race. Yeah. So the hell with that. Not guilty. Yep. Not guilty. He's a warrant officer. I cannot be biased. I think he is a good person, or she is a good person. Big up to every single one. Big up to Drilly. Big up to the slot out enemies are in full effect after Backshasta City. So who is it? Is it Osam? Is it Mons? Is it Cal? Is it AGT? The voices, the big voices of the Liverpool YouTube streets, are they slide in, slide out? It's kind of like when they get forced in a corner and they have to make a decision. Are you on this side? Or are you on that side? Like, what are we doing? And they make a decision. You can handle the truth. Hey, that one down. That cool second cousin. I love everyone, for real. Yeah. Big up, man. That's fair. It wasn't my intended point. I'm in favor of foreign referees in the Prem versus English refs that may have implicit bias, or those refs if they can be biased. Yeah, I think the English FA is doing themselves a huge disservice of having only English referees, right? Because you're essentially limiting your talent pool to just one country when we know that the best managers are foreign. We know that the best players are foreign. So what makes you think the best referees are English only? The only requirement that they should have is speak some English, not even fluent, enough English to communicate with the managers, the players, and the media, if need be. And most of the officials already do, because it's the official language of FIFA. You know what I mean? Big up to Boyton. I think foreign ref solves this whole thing 100%. 100%, my bro. Big up to Doc. Big up to Dal. E-Ross. Some more dappings go. Man said back shots City, you know. But you know what? It was bad. It was a bad performance. It was absolute bad. He was garbage. I said yesterday on the Night Owl show with Jordy Dredd, like Burnley performed better at the Etihad than Liverpool did, because at least they scored. They bust net, and it was 1-1 at halftime. City scored an own goal, or they got an own goal, and Burnley actually equalized before they broke it open. But what happened yesterday in Manchester was what City did to Liverpool yesterday is what Liverpool thought they did to Real Madrid during the week in the Champions League. That was the most, brother. That was a beatdown. 3-0, a missed penalty, and a whole bunch of missed chances. We're heading for robots officiating games sooner than we might be anticipating. Yeah. Robots, flying cars. Anyone seen the commercial for that robot maid that can make breakfast and make the bed and all that shit? Big up to Hendo. Question: how do you feel now that City is back on track with 4 points behind us? It seems like we have to win everything. Yeah. So when they were 6 points behind, I said, that's striking distance for City. That's striking distance for City. In addition to, we have to go to the Etihad. We have to go to that slaughterhouse that we just see. That man put belt to ass yesterday. Beat and teach. They were whipping them. So we have to go to that on April 28th, the business end of the season. We have to go get a dose of that. And we just saw what Arteta did at Sunderland in match week 11. So we think he's going to go to City match week 28 and be brave. If I had to bet money on it now, I say he'd go there and play for a draw, even if we're behind. If we need to win the game, he'll go there and play for a draw. And we know what happens when we try to play for a draw, yeah? We lose. We see what happens when we try to lock up shop. We draw. You know? But 4 points behind City, it's nothing. We could be 1-0 down when we get off the coach when we get there. So now it's a 1-point game. I did ask the question after match week 9. Because the 9 and the 20, because after match week 9, there were a lot of people declaring the title over. And I'm like, we have 29 games. You know, so I'm like, in match week 29, I wouldn't trust the 6-point lead, because then you have 27 points to play for. I'm like, oh, no. And if anyone was to win yesterday, I wanted it to be Liverpool. It was a bad weekend for us. We can't run from that. We dropped 2 points, like Dal said, and City gained all 3. 4 points behind it. That's nothing. City, this is what City wants. They enjoy hunting. They've done it to Liverpool twice. They've done it to us twice. And they're doing it without Rodri, which is the reason why I thought City couldn't do it. And they're doing it without him. You know, yesterday, Man City was able to, these man benched, or not benched. You look at their bench yesterday, brother, and they were able to bring on Marmoush, who signed in January, and he was cooking, and he can't even get into the starting 11 right now. Yeah, Reinders. And Haaland had an off game, if you want to really be critical. He missed a pen, scored a goal, but other than that, didn't do much. Reinders, 8 Nori, Escobar, Rico Lewis didn't even touch pitch. Jeremy Doku out here doing this, brother. The way he was cooking. It was, we have a very, very, it feels like we're the ones that behind, because I feel deflated. Because we've all seen this movie before, yeah? Most of the foreign referees probably have a player on every team that they can communicate with, by the way. Surely each team has someone that can speak Spanish. But you know the FA there, this is the English Premier League. They're going to, you know. But yeah, I get your point. Man United had no problem battering Sunderland. Yeah, they should have put 4 past them. You know. But how men think it's over after a draw. Crazy. It's not after a draw. It's what Mark alluded to earlier. It's 4 points ahead with 81 points to play for. If you think Man City can't make up 4 points out of a possible 81, that's crazy. You're crazy. 4 points. Like, we seen these men chase us down 8 points closer to the end of the season than they chased us down. 4 points, yawn. If we didn't have to play them, if we already played them twice, calm. Absolutely calm. If we had beat them at the head-to-head with a head-to-head record, even calmer. But we have to go to their gap. Business end of the season. April 28th to be exact. That's City time. Brother Waffle Dad said, sorry, bro, but you are deluded. My country never win a World Cup with that mentality. I don't think England's going to win a World Cup no time soon. If it's diluted and the team isn't as good as people think, I would like to point it as. But what it is if you completely just ignore recent history with the same bunch of players, if you can't just summarily dismiss that it's not coming from a valid place. Like, how many times does City need to chase down teams for you to believe that they can do it? And how many titles do we need to bottle before you say anything about mentality? Is what I'm saying, though. 4 points from a possible 81, and you don't understand the concern when we see them close bigger gaps. Not sure, bro. Not sure what you're on. Big up to Storm. Storm said, big up to BBK and all the legends in the chat. Just got out of the hospital after a freak accident where I hurt my hand. It's difficult to type. Bear with me. Might be slow to respond. Hey, bro. All love. Appreciate you checking in. And that's commitment. You know, that's commitment. I greatly appreciate that you tuning into the channel, even with an injury, my bro. But big up to you. Every single time. Now, big up to E-Ross. Let me see if I didn't miss any comments relevant to the conversations going back and forth. I can appreciate as long as we keep it 100. Big up to Drilly in the building. Now, people, the questions that I'm talking about, right? Now, the why. We got a whole lot of whys. Why? Remember the whys? Anybody remember this instrumental? Remember that one? It was like 04. Why? Got to know why. What's the why? We got a whole lot of whys to ask. And if you go down the Premier League table and all the managers are in front of you, and I got to ask them why, I'll look at Arteta and I'll be like, bruh, why does your attack look so slow and lethargic and so bad? And why is it that you have the biggest squad in Europe and you fail to use it to beat Sunderland? How do you rotate 9 players at home versus a Premier League team in Brighton and win 2-0, but go to Sunderland and only make 1 sub when all we needed really to win this game was fresh legs on the pitch? I think Regis Debris used all of his subs, brought fresh legs on. So they have fresh legs and they have the ball and you're inviting pressure on, make only 1 sub. Why did you do that? These damn softball questions that they ask in these interviews, yeah? What are the questions that the reporter asked Arteta in his pre-match, in his post-match press conferences? How does this result? Now, he said something along the lines of, does this result help you to become better players and better champions to be now that you've drawn this game? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's what you're going to ask him? Why didn't you ask him about his substitution patterns, why he chose to go defensive so late in the game? That's the questions that fans want to know. Because you do take the credit. He always takes the credit for how good the squad is, how deep the squad is. So if you have the deepest squad and then you present it with a scenario where you need to manage and use said squad, why didn't you? Why? Why you do us like that, Mikael? Why? Why are you bringing on just Mascara, inviting pressure onto us and taking off Eze? I don't get it. Those are the questions that I got for Mikael. And the question I have for Boy 10 is how did Mikael earn your trust so much? What has he done to earn your trust where you think you can trust a 4-point lead with 81 points to play for? I'm curious to know. Big up to Gianni. Hope you're good, bro. No quad, but no Liverpool fan will think Arsenal will win even a cup because you proved it in the past 6 years. But Drilly, I'm glad you're saying it as a rival, as a neutral, and as someone who's actually won in recent years. Because if I say it, it just sounds like an agenda, right? But that's the reality. I don't believe another manager in world football who is paid as one of the top managers in world football would fuck off all 3 titles in the past 3 years. I don't. I'm not saying he would have won all 3 title races that we've been in, but at least one. Or if you do fuck off all 3 titles, at least pick up one of the cups, FA Cup, EFL Cup. You had 3 cracks at the Europa League, one of them. But the fact that he is over, and then we don't trust him, people are saying, why don't you trust him? What the hell do you mean why? The proof is in the pudding. I don't get it. If no one is expecting to win a trophy, then I don't think Arteta gets sacked if he doesn't win. I'm not upset at Arteta because the squad isn't good. I think the squad is good enough to win. I don't trust him in charge of this squad because of what Drilly just pointed out. Because he hasn't won anything in the past 6 years. So what am I clinging on to? And if we do win, then we're counting on the players to win in spite of him. Now, the players just can't go rogue and do what the hell they want. They can't do that. Right? They cannot. Now, when I hear Calafiori and I hear all the players, Gabriel Calafiori, Declan Rice, and all these other players come out and say, I'm disappointed. And then there's not a follow-up question. Okay, you're disappointed. What are you disappointed in? Who are you disappointed with? Because of the core group of players, if they see that the manager takes off Eze, doesn't bring on an outlet, brings on a defender, invite pressure onto him, are they disappointed in that? And if they are disappointed in that, are they brave enough to say it to the media? Probably not. But do they say it amongst themselves? Because collectively, they can probably do something about it. But if it's only one person in the squad that feels like the manager cost them 2 points on Saturday, then it doesn't work. But if they collectively believe that he cost them, then they can go to the gaffer and be like, brother, I know you got the best defense. I know we're doing well, but we'd appreciate if you don't invite pressure onto us all the time. Let's play football. And the fact that right after they scored, we were up the pitch, almost scored with that Merino block, proves that we could have been up the pitch playing football all along. Big up to Gary. Hope you are good, bro. 20 likes. Appreciate you. English media are full of PC merchants, says FDSC Benny. I agree, man. Like the tough questions have to be asked. You know they ain't allowed to ask him the real questions. Now, I'm not talking about the press conferences like pre-match with Haters TV, and I'm talking about the broadcasting partners who get him right after the game. Because I've seen them ask Ten Hag about his substitutions. You know, the Sky Sports, or Peacock, whoever is broadcasting the game. I've seen them ask Ten Hag that tough questions. His assistants that froze up when it came to making subs. Bertha Knows read him. The riot act got 2 weeks. But someone, they can ask him that question, like, what were you thinking? What was your thought process bringing on Mascara, taking off Eze? Were you trying to show up the game? You don't have to be nasty with the questions. These are journalists. These people have degrees in the English language. They are very well-spoken individuals. They can formulate a question where it's a tough question, but it's respectful. I guarantee you Dr. Seymour Butts can do it. Doc puts some damn comments on the screen sometimes. I have to look at them for 5 seconds before I start reading. You know? Imagine Marino playing the full game. Jackline, if you look at the cross that they scored from, Marino was actually trying to get there to close down. He just couldn't get there because, one, he's slow, and two, it was the 94th minute. He's tired. You can't be slow and tired. You might as well be a cone on the pitch. You know? And there lies the problem right there, because these are the questions that the supporters of the club want to know. What was your thought process in bringing on a defender to see out the game when you can go kill off the game? You know? Big up to KJ. Love, bro. Appreciate sharing the screen with you last night on the Jordy Dread Night Owl sessions. It won't be the last time. You know you're welcome over here on BBK Sports anytime you need, bro. Just send me a note and we will mash some work. We ain't dead yet. Many twists and turns left for the rest of the season. Yeah, I give you one more, man. Because I didn't have you winning the Villa game. I had you dropping points in that. But because you won that game, and the City game, you know, became a must win for you when you lost it. But right now, Liverpool, you may not be dead yet, but you're on life support. I'll say that you have a pulse. But you're you know, it's like you're punching, but you have one arm tied behind your back. And over your next couple of fixtures, Forest, West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds, Brighton, I expect you to win all of those. But in the event that you lose one of those, consider that the plug being pulled. You know, like, you know, your spouse come up there while you're on life support and the doc say, hey, you know, he's on life support, no brain activity. It's up to you. Bloop. I know my wife. If they call my wife to the hospital and the doctor said, Mrs. Chambers, he's on life support. He has no brain activity. Before the doctor finished saying activity, but the plug is pulled up my motherfucking ass. Whoop. Flat line. Straight down to the insurance office to collect the money. Hey, he says he agrees with Jilly. I can see Man City being top of the league after 2 weeks. After the weekend, we play Chelsea. Uncomfortable conversation because my bro, the Waffle Don, has labeled November nasty November. Life comes at you fast in this Premier League, you know. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. And the way it's going for us right now, imagine we draw the Tottenham and draw the Chelsea because we don't need to lose, you know. We drop those 4 points. Yeah, City are above us in November. No joke. And what will the narrative be then? But you can't just dismiss it and stick your head in the sand and be like, okay, it can't happen. It can happen. Because there was a whole lot of ifs going into the Liverpool City game yesterday. And the if, we came out on the wrong side of the if. Because if we wanted someone to win that game, it would have been Liverpool. We come out on the wrong side of the if, and they're 4 points behind us, and everyone is really looking at this like, this is prime big blue shark territory. Showing face, as everyone says, I don't hide. You have to, man. You have to show your face. Big up, my bro. Boy, Ted said, but Slots, the reason I'm sure Liverpool aren't coming back into any title talks. Whatever the reason is, that's fair. That's fair. But I'm of the opinion that 4 points in November, when there's 84 points, 81 points left to play for, isn't safe. I can't sleep good at night knowing that they're man of 4 points behind us. No. Big up to Darren. So your problem is you thought that previous teams were the problem when up to the manager was always the problem. When your manager was always the problem. No matter who the team is, bro, the manager is the problem. The common denominator, yeah? Can't get my words out this morning. With Klopp's team, Yeah, my comment. With Klopp's team, he spent many millions on that team. It's going well. Yeah. So here's the thing. Questions. So I said those are the questions that I would ask Arteta. The questions that the Liverpool fans have to ask of Arne Slot is, yep, how do you walk the league, spend 450 million, and make the team look worse? How? You have to ask that question. Why? Uncomfortable conversations, but the conversation must be had, even if it's uncomfortable. And I'm sure those conversations are being had. Like Drilly told this man over there fighting over slot out, slot in between Cal and Kopish and Mons and them. Those are the questions that being you. How do you spend that much money and get worse? So the same way they can ask that question, we can say, how have you been given the best squad in Europe all this time and your trophy less in 6 years? You got to ask it. The conversation must be had no matter how uncomfortable it is, man. The manager has a lot to answer for, yeah. But if he's not being asked the questions, then he doesn't feel the heat. He doesn't feel the pressure. And it might be a good thing because it doesn't seem like he reacts well to pressure. Because in that moment, right, after Trossard scored, in that moment, when 7 minutes went up on the clock or however much the stoppage time was added, pressure was felt and he felt like he needed to bolster up the squad. Okay, the Mascara sub, you get it to an extent, right? Okay, you bring on another defender, you're leading the game. But you have to replace the dead legs on the wing. It's not like we didn't have anyone on the bench. Because if we had players who could close down the ball, all of a sudden, them men just don't have free reign to float 3 consecutive crosses into our box. Because they didn't play through the defense. It doesn't matter how many defenders you have on the pitch. You cannot stop the crosses from floating in the box if you have no wingers closing down the players who are doing the crossing. What happened to halftime interviews? Yeah, I don't know. And if it was voluntary, he's not gonna do them. You know? Because he can control the pre-match press conference when there is no game being played. He is in full control of that. The questions, the pre-screens, and all that. The post-match when he's sitting down, he can control the narrative. He doesn't have to answer all the questions that are being thrown at him. Or his PR guy will say, you're going to get asked this, and they can come up with a political answer, and they can wiggle around it. But those 90 minutes, while the game is going on, he is not in control. The 11 guys are on the pitch. Now, he can affect the game by coming up with his strategy. Or first, now let me not even say strategy. Let me say tactic. Because there's a major difference between tactic and strategy. Right? And so in my line of work, like the strategy for the U.S. Army is we're a hunt and kill army. That strategy is determined by the Department of Defense in Washington, D.C. Right? We're a hunt and kill because the wars are not fought on U.S. soil. So we have to go somewhere and fight. That's the strategy. The tactics of how we actually do the hunting and killing is up to us. It's at a very lower level. So the strategy, so let's use Brighton, for example. Brighton is their strategy as a football club is that we're going to be a selling club. So the tactic that De Zerbi and Graham Potter and Fabian Hurst have to use is we got to play pretty football and make our players attractive to be sold. So the tactic matches the strategy. So the tactic of him shutting up shop yesterday, the overarching strategy is we're going to be a defensive team this season. And you play defensive in games that you're trying to win, you end up drawing. Play too defensive in games that you're trying to draw, you end up losing, just like we did at Anfield. I am so behind on the comments, people. I apologize because you normally know I read all of them, but there's a lot to get to. To be fair, these journalists are Phoenix Capella University grads. Oh, wow. But still, you get the point. They know how to put some sentences together. You can tactfully ask a difficult question because they do it in politics all the time. They ask political, especially of the opposing party. They will ask difficult questions of, elected officials from a party that they don't support. So you can formulate a question and ask Mikel in a tactful way, how or why did you think that one sub and leaving Bukayo Saka dead legs and Trossard dead legs and Marino, who's already slow on the pitch, with no creative outlet for when you turn the ball over? I think that's a question that deserves to be answered. Yeah, we're on life support, definitely, bro. Definitely on life support. So one more win, one more loss, and the plug is being pulled on you. But I do think you have a favorable run of games. BBK thinks it matters if the presser or those touchline interviews. No one is allowed to ask Arteta real questions. I want to ask him, why didn't he use our bench? Someone has to ask it, is my point. That's how you hold him accountable. If no one is asking him the questions, then he's just going to continue to do this dumb shit. Ty is as intimidating as a caterpillar. I tell you what that Stewart did is what every other rival and most non-Top Gunner Arsenal fan wanted to do to Ty. Not saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm not advocating, but man, he's making wild takes, and he finally got paws put on him. You know, so every Stewart has been wanting to do that to Ty, because if he acts at games the way he acts in the studio, and the way he's condescending to rival fans at times, this is the kind of stuff that happens. I'm surprised he hasn't been like punched up. Hey, man, that Julian, it can be unbearable. But from what I hear, Ty is a nice guy. But even nice guys can get annoying sometimes, you know? He carries heavy grudges. Look at how he's restricting Yuck and Eze. Yeah, facts, man. Poole or a Van Dijk injury away from season over. It's another point that I touched on yesterday, that Liverpool's blimp right now is poor form. You know, it's not really an injury crisis. You know, Alisson is a big miss, but yeah, if Van Dijk or Szoboszlai picks up a knock, then it could be long for Liverpool. Because I really thought Nico Gonzalez against the Liverpool midfield, the title-winning Liverpool midfield, that's their strongest midfield. McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch. I thought that man would have given Nico some problems, especially with an old-ass Bernardo Silva next to him, who every City fan wanted sold last summer and was mad that they didn't sell him to Barcelona while his value was high. They had that midfield was it was one-way traffic. You're talking to Blunderman. You can't ask him a direct yes or no question. He has to have an operation to remove the truth. Ask him enough questions, and then he'll be exposed for what the fuck he really is, you know, because then he would have known that, hey, the bullshit that you're saying in the press conference, in the pre and the post, isn't really matching what you do. Right? Because if you're bigging up your squad in the pre-press conference of how you can rotate 9 players against Brighton, right? You're bigging up the squad, and then you don't use it. Questions. Punching with the arm tied behind your back sounds like my current situation. I'm a one-armed bandit at the moment. Hey, man, take your time. Or you can do that. Don't they have that talk-to-text thing where you push the button and you just talk, and it translated for you? You know, with my heavy accent sometimes, I can't use that because it comes out weird. Best squad in the Premier League. So it's so good that Arteta does not trust the players he has in it. Why not play MLS Wanieri on Saturday, even in the last 50 minutes? And that's the point. That's the overarching point, right? You didn't need him to play 90 minutes. You just needed him to see out the game. But the fact that you tried to see out the game with just a defender for an attacker, and you're doing this against Sunderland, bro. Sunderland in match week 11. So match week 30-something, April 28 at Man City. How do I trust you to react? Because you haven't won there in God knows how long. It's a winning run that's doable, and we've seen previously that we can sustain a winning run. Right now, it looks bleak, though. I haven't seen it from this bunch. I haven't seen the kind of run that Liverpool are going to need to win the Premier League title is like 8, 10, 12 wins, right? Not undefeated, because Man United are undefeated right now in the last 5 with 3 wins and 2 draws, but it's not top form, yeah? Now, Jurgen Klopp's team, 100% between Mane, Salah, and Bobby Firmino could. But this bunch with Kirkes and when your manager is out here waving the white flag, because when he chose not to bring on Isak, that was the white flag waving. He said, "Nah, we're not good enough. It's not our day. We ain't trying." Because if he wasn't fit enough to give you 15 minutes, you wouldn't have put him on the bench. But you're bringing on Gakpo and Kirkes. Kirkes has been cheeks, and the Ekitike has been your best attacker this season. And you're taking off your best attacker for Gakpo. White flags. I'm like, yeah, he doesn't believe. And the team, it translated to the team because Mo Salah, he didn't even look interested. BBK, you got to call out these men that said we are winning it. Where is all the evidence? Yeah, it's not. It's emotion. Yeah, there's no evidence. It's emotion. It's feeling. It's feel good. You know, it's moments. You know, last year all we can take away from last season was moments against Real Madrid. This year is going to be the moment that we had this year was winning away at Newcastle, blitzing Atletico at the Emirates. You know, and we have to at some point these moments have to start leading to something, or then we're just going to be Moments FC looking at other teams at the end of the season. Zidane terrified of taking another job because he knows that Madrid shit was Fugazi. He not going to have generals like Benz, Modric, and Kroos CR7 for 2 years. All he had was to do was get the hell out of the way. So here's the thing. He has the 3 Champions League trophies. Yeah. And imagine working your way. There's a reason why Phil Jackson didn't coach the Washington Bullets and shit. Right? There's a reason why Phil Jackson, after he won 6 championships with the Bulls, didn't take another job until the 2000 Lakers. When you build up your cachet to a certain level, like, hey, I only coach winning teams, then you only coach winning teams. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, give me the team when it's ready to win and I'll get you over the line. That's what he did. Because in 1999, the LA Lakers got swept out the Western Conference Final by the Utah Jazz with fucking man like Craig Ostertag and that. They hire Phil Jackson. That year, the very next year, 2000, they win the league. They win the NBA title. So if Zidane is on some shit where, like, if the team is really good, bring me in and I win, so be it. If you can pay Arteta £15.6 million a year, who's never won any Champions League, you can damn sure pay Zidane 50 fucking million. He's won 3 of them. Now, Arteta may go on to be this and may go on to be that, but he hasn't done it yet. Zidane has the trophies to prove it. And if this squad is as good as we think it is, and I think this squad is really good to win something, then you give it to someone. I'm not tunnel vision on Zizou, but give it to someone who has one. Time running out. TikTok slot. The seat is definitely getting hot. Big up to Guna SC. Hope you're good, my G. Blessings to you this Monday evening or afternoon. He got my belief still way too early to be screaming out. Yeah, I'm thinking like you win the league in your first year, it buys you some time. I thought it would have bought him 2 years before the transfer window. I'm not going to lie. But when you go out and have the transfer window that he did, it's still, I think that 2 year that he bought him with the league goes down to 1. And even with that 1 year, it might get really sticky if the form continues to be 1 win, lose 4, slippy. Because now we're looking at that your performances in Europe and against Villa may have been like, you know, crack coverers. Because Frankfurt is shit. Now we can make that assumption that Frankfurt is shit, and that Real Madrid, even though they're leading La Liga, are very inconsistent because they fired blanks yesterday against Vallecano or some shit. I don't know who they played, but they didn't win yesterday. So Madrid have these kind of performances in them. Big up to Dal. One day, my bro. One day we will get there. Please help me to continue to share the video, like the video, and all that shit. Maybe. When we get to 2K, will be the next giveaway. Will be the next BBK giveaway once we get the 2K subs. But big up to you, man. Big up to Mido. Man like Mido, the Liverpool slayer. Nah, bro, I don't have us on to win the league when we are relying on Nketiah as backup for an injury-prone Jesus. And I'm not on that train when we have Sterling on loan to replace 4 players. Now, for last year, you can do the Sterling thing, right? The Sterling thing you can do for last year. Okay, fair play. But the year when we were talking about Nketiah, bro, we were ahead by 8 points. So it was in our hands. Can't dismiss it. It was ours to lose, and we lost it. Give Slot more time. At least he's won a major. But by the time the international break is over, that Mikhail guy better be fired. Nah, bro. He will not. He will be here on the sidelines against Tottenham. Rice's legs were dead. Magalhaes looked dead. Got to be brave enough to take these players off. We agree with you there. Definitely agree with you there. But boy, 10, this is where you confuse me because you can see that. I can see that. Everyone in football can see that. But Arteta didn't do it. But then you ask us, why don't we trust him? You see? So if he makes stupid decisions like this most of the times, then you understand why we don't trust him to win the league title. Because I promise you, this will not be the last time you see him do dumb shit. The timing of a lot of these fans are not brave enough to take a completely gassed and depleted Rice off the pitch for fresh legs. So I don't know what exactly to make of the lack of subs totality. He is scared. It's cowardly. And scared money don't make no money. Big up to Godfrey. Hope you are good, bro. You know, if I invested 50,000 instead of the 500 that I did in Amazon stock when I did, I would have had a hell of a lot more money now. But because I was scared, I only invested 500 instead of 50 grand. Scared money don't make none. The guys and girls who invested 50, 100K are sitting on 6-7 times that right now. 6-7 times 500, you know, it's more than 500, but it's not. You get. Got to be brave, Mikhail. You know, it's a football game, you know. It's not life and death. You know, I've seen bravery up close, my brother. You know I got Medal of Honor recipients in this phone. Man of valor, bravery. So when I see people being cowardly and it's not a life and death situation, I'm like, bro, what do you have to lose? A football game? Go for it. Didn't I could have sworn I modded KJ already. My brother KJ. Appreciate that, Mito. I get on these rants sometimes and just lose by a head, you know. It's not about attacking. We just need to keep the legs up with the Sunderland physicality. And physicality is what took the energy out of Rice, Gabriel, and they kept on. But that's the thing. Again, we see it, you see it. But the guy who's paid $15.6 fucking million cannot see and make these decisions. And he cost us 2 more points. We're up to 7 now. I think 7 points now that these cost us. 3 at Anfield, 2 at home versus City, and then these 2 on Saturday. But yeah, I'd have to ask Mikhail why for that sub. And the Liverpool fans will ask Slot, how have you spent this much money to look worse? And the City fans are asking Pep, can you do it? The City fans might be asking themselves, how dare we question you? Now you're in striking distance of Arsenal, and we believe that you can do it because we've seen you done it. Yeah? You know, the Tottenham fans are looking at Thomas Frank, and they can ask him, bro, are you a Danish fraud? How do you have the best road record, but you're so shit at home? Right? The Chelsea fans can look at Maresca and ask him, brother, why are we so inconsistent? You know, you look good against Wolves, relegation fodder, but at home versus the same Sunderland team, you look the shell of yourself and you're drawing to carry a bag with bad rotation schemes. Many questions that need to be asked of the managers in the Premier League. They're making bonehead decisions that the fans who can see from a mile away that it's costing them points all over the gap. Could have put on MLS for Zubimendi to shore up our physicality. A million things that he could do. Went on a run last season, BB, but there was no pressure last year, bro. Like Arsenal didn't put any pressure on Liverpool last year. When did we put pressure on you? Because every time you drop points, we drop points as well. I remember one weekend you didn't even fucking play. I think it was the game that got you the Everton game, right? Got called off to bad weather or something. And then we went to Fulham and drew. I don't think we put any pressure on Liverpool last year. I'm going to be 100. You got a free reign to the Premier League title last year. No pressure. You ain't getting no pressure from City. You ain't getting none from us. So a run wasn't even needed. This year, losing 5 of 11, you need to do that. And this year, Your teams are better. Sunderland have been throwing spanner wrenches in all of it now, right? Now Sunderland went to Stamford Bridge and won. We went to Stadium of Light and dropped points. Sunderland believe they belong. So this year, when you need to go on a run, last year you didn't, and that's the big difference. And I argue, and I've said this before, I don't know if you agree, but I think last year's Liverpool team was better than this one. Last year, Liverpool team had Trent. Last year, Liverpool team had a motivated Mo Salah who was betting on himself to get the big contract. Last year's Liverpool team had Jota, Godman, Mr. Clinical. Last year's Liverpool team had Luis Diaz, the press monster. Right now, if you're picking a World 11, it's hard to leave Luis Diaz out the left wing. He is cooking at Bayern. So I think that team was better. But at what did Liverpool put 10 wins together last year, like 10 wins in a row? You didn't need to. This year, you're going to need to do that. I don't think this team can. You know? So it's just 5 out of 11. It's bad, man. Like, say you lose the next one. There is no world where I think Liverpool is going to lose to Nottingham Forest at Anfield. But if that happens, that's 6 out of 12. So losing half your games, that's not even title winning form. That's fucking, you know. Then you're in a full-blown top 4 race with United. There's no way after 11 games you should below them, man. You know. Fresh legs. Give ourselves the best chance. Yep. Seeing them go so defensive, man, just like, yep, okay, just get it in the box. Ping pong. Let's see let the chips fall where they may. But in that critical phase of play, though, I still think Gabriel needed to be stronger. Even though he was gassed. Like, well, we needed, for you to defend one play. And goddamn Raya. Trust me, Mikael. I think you know the answer to that question, KJ. He is the reason why non-top Gooners are nervous right now. Of course, the defenders of him are going to say he's going to get over the line. This year feels different, blah, blah, blah. How many times have we heard that? How many times have we heard this feels different? Are we still falling for that? Nah, bro. Anyone who's falling for this year feel different, these men might be out here getting catfished in 2025, Yeah. My camera phone is broken. See why I think you'll drop points? Yeah, we'll definitely drop points. Put some respect on Bernard King. You know about that, BK. Big up to Dal, man. Isak and Wirtz, worst signing of the summer. It's not going well, but that's the thing, though. They might flop this year. I might not bang this year, but if they bang next year, then it kind of justifies it, isn't it? Because there's Bundesliga tax. No one can deny that there's not Bundesliga. There is Bundesliga tax. There's Portuguese La Liga tax. Those leagues, right up. Look at the difference. Look at Harry Kane going from Tottenham to Bayern, and look at Wirtz coming from that league to the Prem. You see the difference. Harry Kane is not even changing his shirt. Man is not breaking the sweat. It looked like men against boys. He can play in that league until he's 40. The extra second that he always had when he played for Bayer Leverkusen, he doesn't have in the Prem. Harry Kane already knows that he didn't have that extra second in the Prem. Now he goes to the Bundesliga. He has 2 extra seconds on the ball, and with his quality, it's showing. So it could be the worst signing of this summer, but overall, if he adapts to the Premier League and improves his game, it could be fine. Apologies for being a little behind on the comments. I don't rate this City team at all, to be honest. They are falling off in December. So this is projection. This is pure projection based on what? When I said I think City was going to fall off or City wasn't going to do it, it's because I based that on how they've played historically without Rodri. And then I heard Pep say Rodri, after the injury at 29 years old, can't play the heavy minutes that we're going to need. Because the reason why they played Rodri those heavy minutes because they needed him. But now Nico Gonzalez has stood up. Reinders is there. That's what I based it on, that City wouldn't be the main challengers to us. But if you're saying they're going to fall off in December, what are you basing that on? Other than feelings. That's how you feel, but why? There's a bunch of NBA players coming out saying that the triangle offense was banned by the execs because they wanted more exciting basketball to sell to the fans. The NBA is a star-driven league. You know, it's not a certain type of basketball. Because most those same people who are say they wanted more exciting basketball are complaining that they're shooting too many threes right now. The game is very predictable. Like now, if you watch an NBA game and there's a fast break, no one runs to the basket. Everyone runs to the three-point lines. Man, we have a 3-on-2. And instead of playing for a short layup, man, run out to the three-point lines and jack up a three. The assembled. Do you believe that stupidity is a state of mind or something you develop? Shit. That's a good one, you know. Damn, I don't even think I was ready for this one. The assembled always stumped me with these questions, you know. I think because here's the thing, with experience can make you wiser, right? You can make mistakes and then you develop lived experiences and then you get smarter. But then while you were inexperienced and young, dumb, and full of cum, your state of mind was still immature, so to speak. But this is the thing. I don't think Mikel Arteta is a stupid person. I don't think he's a stupid individual. I just think he's arrogant as fuck. And he sees things through a different lens. And that makes him think that he is smarter than everyone else. And that's fine. You can think that way all you want to, but you have to win. Because we don't know you for anything other than football, my bro. So if you're going to be managing our football team and you're not going to be winning for us, then we don't care how smart you are. We don't care if you're a genius. We don't care if you're a super Mick. We need to get you in the state of mind to win. You know, you can stupidly win us a title. That's what I need him to do. But damn, that's a hell of a question. The assembled always challenges me, you know, but I love it, man. Appreciate you. You absolute legend. Don't ever stop, man. Don't ever stop. I like the difficult questions. Yeah, big up to you, KJ. 26 likes. Can work with that. Absolute legends. The league is very hostile this season. No one is going to put a run together over 12 games, to include us, right? But I expected us to beat Sunderland, man. We were winning the game. Dropping points from winning position is not something that fills you with confidence. And now, when I hear the players come out and say we're disappointed, I'm inclined to ask them another question. You're disappointed, but disappointed in who? In what? Are you disappointed in the manager? Because if you are and you voice those concerns to him, does he trust you as players enough to listen to your concerns? Because they're valid. The concerns that the players have are absolutely valid. That don't bring on unnecessary pressure to us. We will run through a brick wall for you, but don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. You know? I don't even rate Sterling when he was supposedly good. I mean, Sterling was good at City. Sterling was good at Liverpool. He was good at City. Wasn't good at Chelsea, and he was worse for us. Yeah. Sterling left us with one goal. The only thing that I hate about Sterling being at the club is that Arteta was giving him minutes that I thought Ethan should have got. Ethan deserved those minutes. Ethan played 889 minutes total football last year. You know, I was angry that we were up 7-1 versus PSV, and Ethan still couldn't touch pitch. I was angry that we were 5-1 up at the Bernabeu, and Ethan couldn't touch pitch. Because I think if he touches pitch, you know, at 17 years old at the Bernabeu, the confidence that would give him, and then he would have more trust in Mikel. Because how many 17-year-olds can say they did that for Arsenal? You know? What was Egal saying when we needed a center forward? It's better to strengthen your strongest attribute or something. That's when we signed Kala. And then people were talking Kala as a center forward for signing of the month. But Egal also said if we sign Gyökeres, we win the league. But now he's out here hopping on the Excuse Express. Big up to LFC Monster. I would like to revise my take on Slack. You're allowed to do that, my bro. You're allowed to do that. You know. He has 3 games for me, not 5 to turn it around. I've lost some patience overnight. Normally, it's the other way, isn't it? Normally, you sleep on something and the fog clears and you get some more clarity and you're like, okay, I was angry at the moment. Emotions were high. That's why I typically don't stream right after a loss or right after a game, period. Because then, you know, everyone is so eager to get content out. And then Igal, right after the game, will go live and say, you know, Calafiore is the best left back ever, better than Ashley Cole. Not saying you said that, but you know what I'm saying. You know, hyperbolic statements to, you know, to clickbait, rage bait, and all that shit. But 3 games to 5. So, Forest, PSV, West Ham, 3 wins. You should win those. But he say he wins those, and then you get into a tough patch again, and then he lose those. See, that's where it gets kind of tricky for me. Like the games, the type of games matter. Because if you're gonna give him the 3 games that he should win and then he wins them, it's like, okay, that's like, hey, perfect attendance. Okay, you're supposed to go to school. You were supposed to win those games. The Real Madrid one you can use as a measuring stick. Or yes, Real Madrid, still Real Madrid, and it's a tough contest, and you did that. But if it's a favorable run of games and he wins those and then goes on to shit the bed whenever, you know, you got you're running towards the business end of the season, then he loses another 5 in a row, then you'd be like, shit, you know, could have pulled the plug on him earlier and got a manager bounce or something, you know. But it is. There will be a lot of teams taking points off teams this season. I'm not gonna lie. I don't rate Reinders, don't rate Doku, don't rate Foden. There's a lot of City players that I don't rate. Don't even rate Cherky. The man them just like jinky guys. Okay, so let's go with Doku, their left wing. So you rate Trossard or Martinelli? You don't rate Foden. So do you rate Odegaard? You don't rate Reinders. You rate Zubi, yeah? Because I think Reinders was in the Serie A team of the season last year. Cherky, you don't rate Cherky? Cool. But you know, this is where it gets tribal. Man. These same frailties are for depleted UCL squad. Semis and had you man dreaming. No, we hadn't. Listen, we were 2 wins away from winning the Champions League, and we didn't score 1 goal in the semifinal. And I hear you before saying that you Kivior this and that. It seems like Kivior is the crutch and Sterling are the 2 names that you throw out as the reason why we didn't win. And I'm like, nah. You know, they were better than us. You know, we got outplayed, outcoached, all that. Bro, for me, you shouldn't be saying out after a few is crazy. But everyone has an opinion. Certain man gets 6 years. 6 years, you know. But yeah, the 6-year part is the sticking point because you know the way man go on is like you think we're just criticizing him because he just started it. Yeah. And you would think that Mikel just took over Arsenal and started challenging for titles right away. Like he took over in 22, 23. Like, man, forget that the first 3 years were shit. The only time they bring up the previous 3 years is when they have to throw the FA Cup in there to validate him being there. Papa says stupidity is the behavior that you develop. You know, I don't know because I guess there are some young people who are stupid. You know, I don't know. They haven't lived, but they developed stupidity traits. Our losses last year were way bigger than Sterling, way bigger than injuries, way bigger. So big that most of them were from winning positions. Dropping 21 points from winning position is nasty work, you know. Nasty work. I really don't rate City new players like that. I hear what Boyton is saying, but they got Pep, and he's never went back to back, leaving without nada. So sticky one. 4 points, my bro. 4 points. The guy who's done it over and over is only 4 points behind the guy that's never done it. Make of that whatever you will. All right? If I have beaten you to a title 4 times over the past 4 years or over the past 6 years, and I find myself in the exact same position, I fancy myself. You know, I do. There is no one in Manchester. There's no one in the squad in the city of Manchester who wears blue who doesn't think that Pep can break a 4-point gap on Arsenal. It's only the deluded bunch that think a 4-point lead is safe, regardless if you don't rate Turkey, regardless if you don't rate this man, that man, that man. Pep is still there. And they have a core group of players who have done it. Eze is just not that good in central midfield 8. I think the fans are more scared of saying anything than accepting that he's for the wing. I don't think he's for the wing. All these are feelings based on your opinions, change from day to day. Next week, it could go back up to 5 games. It's also affected your UCL games and goes in Slot's favor slightly. You have a favorable run of fixtures. I'm not going to lie. So if he doesn't win all 3 of those, then I fully understand your plight, LFC Monster. Arsenal fans went for Trossard or Martinelli on the right for the right reasons. If you don't perform, then you shouldn't play for Arsenal. Now they're finally playing well. They have to keep this going this season. Arteta is arrogant and stubborn and feels like he is doing the same things to us he did last season. He doesn't think we have the mental hearts to sustain this, us fans, every season. So a world exists where we could beat Tottenham and draw the Chelsea. Or we could draw both of those games. And then City are above us, and then what? And what? Because we have never chased down anyone, have we? That's what I'm on. What I'm on is we have to start strong, finish strong. Finish strong means killing off the game at Sunderland. Finish strong is not bringing on mascara and cowering and seeing out the game. That's not finishing strong. I'm sorry. Too damn smart for their own good, this most generation. Yeah. They know every damn thing and don't know nothing. Arsenal lost way too many points last season from winning positions at that. And this performance against Sunderland brought all those familiar feelings back. You know? Last year, I told people that we were going to incur many more draws because we didn't have the firepower after letting ESR, Nels, Fabio leave for a sterling loan. I was proven right. The injuries didn't stop us from getting leads in those games, so I can't put those down to injuries. The injury thing is an excuse. Right, we were up 2-0 at home against Villa. Injury didn't cause us to drop those 2 points. Right, we were up 1-0 at Brighton at home. Injuries didn't cause us to drop those 2 points. We were up 1-0 at Brighton away. Injury didn't cause us to lose those points. Right? Oh, I'm not putting those to injuries. We weren't good enough. 8-point gap is a 3-game swing if it all goes your way. That's nothing for City. Nothing at all. It's an easy one. Talk about injuries. I talked about firepower. Okay. The firepower was enough to get us to get ahead in the game, wasn't it? The firepower got you 2-0 up on Villa. And then you conceded 2 goals. I'm putting that down to Sterling. I'm putting that down to Nelson at Fulham. But that specific game in isolation, firepower, injuries, I don't know, weren't good enough. Sterling. What a breathtaking signing. Yeah. Hey, Sterling. And it was an opportunity signing. And this is what Edu said. His words. That's what he said. That means these men were comfortable going into a season, going into a third title charge after two failed ones. They were comfortable with Calafiori and Mikel Marino as the signings. So if the opportunity didn't present itself for Sterling, it wouldn't have happened. So, and don't tell me that Arteta didn't have a say in squad size and those guys going out on loan anyway. This is why we saying the manager will do everything to avoid accountability. Signing players that will get us over the line, remove the excuses. The excuse is missing a full squad to do so. And this is why I love, and Doc, listen, appreciate you. Okay, this is why I love this article that was published last week when it says Andrea Berta pushed for the signings of Eze and Nketiah in spite of club's summer business being considered done. Because what Bertha did essentially was remove more of the excuses. Yep, I'm going to give you all the players that you want. Right? I'm giving you all the ingredients to cook the meal. Now, if you fuck this up, need me a new chef. Yep, giving you all of it. Because, see, Odegaard injuries, freak injuries, they are muscular, hurt his shoulder and all this stuff. But if Eze wasn't in the squad and Odegaard was injured, you would have been hearing injury excuse. But no, Bertha fixed that. Bertha fixed that. Bertha said, here's another attacking 10, best available in the Premier League. And he was going to go to Tottenham as soon as James Maddison got injured. So here he is. So you don't have that excuse. I'm giving you him. I'm giving you Ethan. And there's Max. Oh, your defense, in case Saliba or Gabriel goes down, here are two solid deputies, Mosquera and Nketiah. So you have defensive cover, you have cover in your midfield, and here's the striker. Your move. What you got for me? What you got for me, Mikel? He has to prove him right now. Has to prove him right or prove us wrong. Because the players are there. Bertha knows that this squad is good enough to win. He knows what a good team looks like. I called Bertha was responsible for Eze signing when it happened. He did not trust Arteta to go for Eze yet. I'm reading the article this morning again. Eze said, I was prepared to go to Tottenham, but once Arsenal called, it was always going to be Arsenal. Yeah? So big up to Don Bertha. He eliminated the excuse. We love him for that. We love him. The season of no excuses. That includes injuries. That includes refereeing decisions. Michael Oliver's story, yay, whatever. Get that shit out of here. We ain't doing that. We're not doing that. That's what it is. Eliminate all excuses. I'm here for it. Big him up. Big up Bertha, man. Big up to Godfrey in the building. But I hate the softball questions. I hate the when the players say they're disappointed, but we don't really know what they're disappointed in. Are you disappointed in yourselves? Well, do better. But if you're disappointed in the manager for bringing unnecessary pressure onto you, then that's a valid point and that's a valid concern. But what they do with that is calm. And it sucks going into international break with a L. I call it an L. It feels as such. And the results didn't. For quite a few weeks, the results went in our favor, right? We were winning and keeping clean sheets when City lost away at Villa two match weeks ago. We picked up our points. But all of a sudden, 2 match weeks later, results swing back in our favor. There's going to be a whole lot of ebbing and flowing over the next couple of weeks after the international break. But Nasty November, big up to my bro, the Waffle Don. The Nasty November will be telling. It will be telling where we'll be, okay, it's the same old Arsenal or this bunch I've learned. Because more or less, we know that the manager really hasn't learned. We know that he hasn't learned based on what he did at Anfield, not what he said in the press conference, based on what he did. We know he didn't learn based on what he did at home versus Man City. And we know what he's going to do when it gets tough based on what he just did at Sunderland. We cannot ignore his actions. He'll say what the hell he got to say, but we're going to watch what you do. It's a better azimuth. And Arteta has said in his response, I'll scapegoat Eze and Gyökeres, force Havertz back in as soon as he is back. All a proxy of war for internal power going on behind the scenes. And there should be only one winner in that. We're going to move into the direction where the sporting director wants us to go in. We'll give these ingredients to someone else to cook. But sadly, Eze was Bertha signing means Arteta is looking to marginalize Eze by playing him out of position, subbing him off first. Yeah, he did it. I think he did it in the Fulham game as well. As soon as Trossard scored, Eze was off. So we know. So that's what I'm saying, Hendo. We're seeing what he's doing. We're watching. We're paying close attention to it. We're not going to pay attention to what you say. We're going to watch what you do, my guy. You damn right I skipped that shit. I don't know what. Ching got too much. Yeah, right out. You try to, YouTube is doing the purging. I don't know what YouTube is on with the views as of late, but I don't care. I got to put on the performance. I have to deliver as if there are 40 people in here and there are 19 locked in right now. It's all good. I value your time so much, but I'm coming up on 80 minutes right now. I am going to get out of here. I appreciate the rant. If I said anything out of term that you disagree with, you can leave it in the comment section. I will respond to it. I respond to every single one. But big up to every single one of you. I hear it. I love I leave on today. It's Monday. Tomorrow, make sure you are tuning in for the member stream, people. Lots to talk about. Lots to get into tomorrow. But like I always say, my friends, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, we are gone.